Let's see. Come on in, come on in, come on in. How is everybody doing this evening? Hope everybody is doing well. Come on in. Not gonna be on here long. Just real quick pop up. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing this evening? What up, what up, what up? Let's see. Got a couple people coming in. Pop up real quick. What up? Peace, peace, peace. What's going on? What up, what up? What's going on? What's going on? What is going on? Shout out to Roger Lacey, Cincinnati in the building. How's everybody doing? Yep. Costas, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? How's everybody doing? Texas in the building. Kelvin Birch, Great Polo. Shout out to all the MGMs. Shout out to everybody that's popping in on the late night creep. Real quick pop up. Want to talk about fleets. Something that everybody wants to do. It's a question that I get a lot. Sometimes I get questions about fleets when people jump in already too premature. I get questions about people who aspire one day to have a fleet. I think it's just a lot of misconceptions that people have in their head when it comes to owning and operating a fleet and even scaling up to a fleet. All right, so I'm gonna briefly go over the fleet business when it comes to trucking and do a slight compare and contrast from the time period of when I was building my fleet and what I would think it would be like now. I've discussed it before, but like I always say, we always get new people to the channel, so let's kick it real quick. Bro, you got lean, no D. Yeah, that 3-day water fast, man, that's a game changer, man. That's probably one of the best things I've did all year. It cured my sugar craving. Like, I don't have that sugar craving. I haven't ate any candy or anything since I came off that. So I'm feeling real good. My workouts are a lot more explosive. I don't have any inflammation anymore, no more aches or anything. How often do you do that? That was the first time I did it. Hopefully I don't have to do it again. Here come Axel. Hey Axel, chill. Don't come in here on that homo shit tonight, please. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna get straight to it. Shout out to Don Beasy, Philly in the building. What's up, Eddie? That was the first time though I did it, Nick. I only did it one time. I was just trying to figure out a way to just cut some of the little excess fat that I had in certain little pockets. And that helped, but it also had other benefits too. So hopefully I don't have to do it again, but if I do, then I will. But hopefully I'm gonna keep it up and keep the carbs down, stay away from sugar. I'm making sure that anything that I get is no sugar. I got some like dairy free, no sugar added, coconut milk, ice cream kind of like today. It was an acquired taste, but it was really, really healthy. So I'm just making sure I don't get anything with added sugar and low carbs. I've been waiting to block Axel, keep it up. Yeah, I'm gonna let the moderators do their thing. Axel, man, chill, because I don't be coming to your live streams tweaking. You know, we keep it real homo sapien over here. Hetero. Real hetero over here. All right, Axel, let's just keep the chat real hetero, okay? Keep the chat real hetero, all right? We don't wanna say no Diddy. So keep it hetero. I want to try to jump straight to 3 days ago, gradually one day first and advance from there. Well, If I were you, I set a goal for 3 days. The first 2 days are the hardest. Well, actually, the second day is the hardest. The first day is fine. All right, if you the first day is fine because you know you're going into the first day. So the day prior, obviously, you're gonna make sure you eat really, really well. But just make sure you watch what you eat. You want to eat something really, really healthy that day. So that first day, that first 24 hours was cool. That second 24 hours was rough because now you hungry. Your body is craving for food, right? You get through that second day, which is holy hell. By the third day, when you wake up that third day, you're not really hungry anymore. Hopefully, your body is going through ketosis at that point where your body is utilizing stored fat for fuel. All right, so it's burning your fat and using that fat that it's burning for fuel. It's replacing that food that you would be consuming to cure that hunger. So you don't really feel hungry on the third day at all. But I felt really, really weak the third day. Like my body felt like pins, like really like pins and needles. Not hungry at all, but just kind of weak. Not fatigued, just weak, man. Just really didn't have the power to do anything. Don't work out. I tried to work out the first day. Bad mistake. Um, just drink a lot of water, a lot of water, a lot of water, a lot of water. And then after that 72 hours, you should feel a lot lighter. You'll obviously see the difference of the weight loss. You'll see the fat loss. Whatever aches that you had, they should have gone away. Whatever inflammation that you might have had in your body should be gone, and it's just a really good feeling, you know. Um, if you get hungry, can you chew ice? Yeah, it's water. So ice is water, yeah. And some people actually go with the broth, but the broth has like 30, 40 calories. They got some like organic broth. It's like 12 or $13 a box. The organic kind, it's like 35, 40 calories. You could do that. Some people do that, but I just stayed away from it. I just thugged it out with the water. But yep. All right, so boom. Look, I want to talk about fleets real quick. Um, uh, a lot of people ultimately hope to one day scale up to a fleet of trucks. I think in today's time, in comparison to when I was scaling my business up, it's totally different. Obviously, I think it would be a lot more difficult now, and the main reason I think it would be difficult primarily would be based on labor. Um, Getting trucks and getting insured and all that stuff is easy if you got the capital and if you have, the business to scale. It's getting the people, and not only getting the people, it's retaining the people. All right. So I think a lot of people feel like, well, if I get two trucks, or if I get three trucks, or if I get four trucks, I'll make more money. And that is true. But then on the flip side, that second, that third, or that fourth truck could also lead to your demise. There's a lot of people that are or start a business, right? Doesn't necessarily have to be a box truck business. I'm pretty sure we all know some people, like say for instance the restaurant business. You'll have a person that'll go out and buy a restaurant or start a restaurant, and they're doing okay. And then they open another restaurant in a different location, and that one doesn't do as well as the original location, right? And then ultimately, the original location has to bear the brunt of the second location and start footing the bill for the losses that the second location um, is bringing, and then ultimately both locations go out of business, right? Same thing can happen in the box truck business. I've seen it happen to people since I've been on YouTube, especially at the beginning when I first started my YouTube channel in 2022. There was people that were running 4 and 5 and 6 Ryder rental trucks, Penske rental trucks, enterprise budget, right? Because they came in 2021, right? And the volume of freight was abundant, and the opportunity was there. And like I always say, in 2021, you had to be a complete idiot if you came into this industry and failed. Like, there's no way that you could have failed in 2021. Just the freight was there. You didn't, knowing your cost per mile and all that stuff, you're supposed to know it anyway. But people then that clearly didn't know their cost per mile, it didn't really matter. It mattered, but that's how stupid you really had to be in order to lose. Even if you didn't know your cost per mile, you were making money because the freight was there and the rates were there, right? So you had people that were taking advantage of those opportunities, and they were going out renting multiple trucks, and they were running, and they just thought this shit was going to last forever, right? And then the rug got snatched from under them, and then back down to reality, right? So the way I think a person should scale a business is similar to the way I scaled the business, right? Especially building a fleet, right? You want to start, I think, from grassroots. You want to make sure that you're profitable in the first truck. A lot of people aren't profitable in their first truck, and then they have the crazy idea, well, you know what, I'm not profitable in the first truck, but if I get a second truck, then that'll be profitable. So I'm losing on the first truck, but the second truck is going to make money. So then that's where my money is going to come in, and that's just not true. That's the farthest from the truth, right? Whatever you're doing in your first truck, you're going to duplicate that with your second. You're going to duplicate it with your third. You're going to duplicate it with your fourth, so on and so forth, right? Because if you're not successfully running your first truck, how are you going to make the second truck profitable if you're losing in the first truck? It's impossible. You're just going to duplicate the failure from the first truck with the second truck, right? If the first truck is profitable, then obviously you know what you're doing, all right? You got something working for you, and if the opportunity presents itself, then you can duplicate that with a second truck, all right? Some people like to go out and take loans. I didn't do that, all right? Now, to each his own. Everybody's gonna run their business the way they want to run their business. I ran my business the way I saw fit, right? I was patient. I allowed the business to scale. Mark didn't scale the business, all right? Mark didn't scale the business. The business scaled itself, all right? The business is going to talk to you. If you keep your ears open, you take some Q-tips and clean your ears and make sure the wax is out the ears, you'll hear your business talking to you, right? Once I realized that I had the business, right, and I knew I could source the talent, right, that's what led me to go out. The reason why I knew I can go out is because I kept getting calls. Business was already making money with one truck, right? When it got to the point where I got so much business that I'm turning people away, okay, you know what? I'm turning people away, so the opportunity is there. Let me go ahead out and try another truck. Let me go source the talent, get another truck. Business is there. Boom. Second truck. Boom. We talking about moving. I'm gonna talk about the scale in the trucking with the final mile. All right. Second truck comes around. Still getting calls. Now you got two trucks that are booked. Still getting calls. I'm turning customers away. There's only so many jobs we could take a day per truck. I would schedule one morning, one afternoon, one evening, right? Still getting calls. All right, let's go ahead and get a third truck, all right? And it just kept repeating. I usually maxed out at 4 trucks for moving, right? In the summertime, I ran anywhere from 3 to 5 on a particular day, especially towards the end of the month when it was busy, then I'll max out. But on average, 3 trucks for moving, all right? Simple, plain, easy. I allowed the business to let me know that I can scale, and I just kept going. Now, the way I scaled, I didn't go out and take loans. I didn't do none of that shit, right? I think that, to me, honestly, I think it's a recipe for disaster, right? I always say, especially if you're doing local work, you don't have to go out and buy a brand spanking new truck. I think that is not a good idea, right? I went out and I bought pre-driven used trucks, right? My trucks, when I started building my fleet, my trucks were about 7, 8 years old at that particular time when I bought them. If you watched my live stream from yesterday afternoon, I showed the first truck that I ever bought and the third truck that I ever bought. I still own them, right? These are the 2 trucks that I held on to when I was selling off my fleet, right, during the pandemic as an insurance policy, just in case I thought about getting back into the business because at that particular time when the pandemic hit and as we were going through the pandemic, I couldn't see the future. I was a smart individual. I consider myself a smart businessman. I made the right move. I honestly, obviously, we know that now, but it's always good to hold on to insurance just in case, and that's what I did, right? So that first truck that I bought, the one that I didn't get a chance to charge up yesterday, if you watched that live stream, I bought that truck in October of 2013, right? And I paid cash for it. I wrote a check, right? And I had the money, obviously, because the business was making money, right? Once I bought that truck, $7,900, that truck, right, it recouped itself in about a month and a half's time. All right, it had recouped itself by the holidays, by Christmas, right? After the Christmas season was over, January 4th, I went out and bought truck two. That truck recouped the money back, right? I bought truck two, wrote a check, paid for it outright, right? That truck recouped the money. See, I didn't just go out, buy a truck because the capital was there, right? Truck one ended up recouping the money, and then that money that it recouped, that initial investment, it went to buy truck two, all right? So the business bought that truck one, that money came back, that truck worked that money back. We took that same money and bought truck two. So that same 8,000, it just kept recycling each other until he started charging me, all right, this truck gonna be 9, this truck gonna be 10. Obviously, as time went on, the trucks got more expensive. But that same initial investment just kept turning over. Yeah, there was plenty more money there, and I could have went out and bought 2, 3, 4 trucks at a time if I wanted to, right? But I allowed that money, right, to come back, and then we took that money and put it back. It would take about a month and a half. All right, so October, boom, January 4th, second truck, boom. Work that money, let that money come back. March, went and bought that third truck. All right, that fourth truck came a month later because an opportunity presented itself and I need to go buy a new truck. All right, that was a new truck. We financed that truck. All right, so I never rushed. All right, I allowed that money to come back. I was patient. Even when shit was being thrown at me, I was patient. I didn't jump the gun, right? I never wanted to go back into the pocket again. I never wanted to go deeper into the cash flow. I allowed that same money to keep working, all right? Now, for the Final Mile business, when that got started, the way I scaled that was similar, right? The first contract we had was IKEA, right? Now, I didn't know anything about Final Mile. I was happy with moving. I'm making a shit ton of money in moving, right? Shit ton of money, all right? I get a call from Dynamics, which is now T-Force at the time. Hey, we're having an issue with this contract we got with IKEA. You know, we're used to doing messenger services, so our contractors are really having a hard time with this contract. There's a lot of claims, so you know, we were just thinking, the executives, that maybe we should reach out to some moving companies since you guys are used to dealing with furniture and you guys know the techniques and how to maneuver this stuff in and out of places so that we can keep this contract because there's so many claims that are going on. Can you come in for a meeting? So, all right, I went in for a meeting and they, you know, the numbers were good, right? At the time, they were offering a guarantee. Now, you got to remember, this is back in 2013, all right? This is back in 2013. You go into a logistics company now for a meeting. First of all, they're not going to seek anyone out, all right? This is a different time period, all right? And they damn sure not going to offer you a guarantee, right? They're just not going to do it nowadays. But they gave me two options. They said you can take the guarantee or you can take $33 a stop. Now, $33 a stop was fairly decent back then. And, you know, in some cases, $33 a stop may be good, but I'm looking at $500 guaranteed Monday through Friday, $600 guaranteed Saturday and Sunday. Give me the guarantee. I'm gonna gamble with the guarantee, right? You know why? Because I know I'm gonna get that 500 Monday through Friday and that 600 Saturday and Sunday per truck. How many trucks can you bring? How many trucks do you need? Now, mind you, I only got the moving company, but I'm a business person, right? I'm a businessman, right? At that time, manpower wasn't no issue, right? You got to remember there was no gig economy then. There was no Uber Dash or DoorDash or whatever or Grubhub. None of that shit existed. It's either you worked or you starved. All right, and working could come in many shapes and facets, legal or illegal. You either worked or you starved. You had to go to a place of employment in the traditional way and fill out an application and get a job. You couldn't just go on your phone, download a bunch of apps and wake up and work when you want, start an app and then go out and drive and or go out and deliver food. Like it wasn't like that. You had to literally go punch a clock back then, right? So labor wasn't an issue. It was plenty of cats on the block that needed work, right? So when they said how many trucks can you provide, I said, oh, how many trucks you need? They said, well, can you bring on 5? I said, yeah. Now going and getting the people wasn't no issue, but I did have to source the trucks, right? But I didn't have to bring 5 on all up off jump, right? Just bring on 1 and then work my way up from there, right? So I didn't go out and buy a truck for that particular account. What I did was I called my rep and I rented a truck, right? Because I didn't know if it was going to work, so I didn't want to go spend an X amount of dollars for a 26 footer, right? Not knowing if this contract was going to be around, right? So what ended up happening is we went in there and we worked it really, really good, and we continued to scale up. And within about a month and a half, I was running 3 trucks for IKEA in the morning, and then we were running 2, eventually 3 in the afternoon. Well, not afternoon, the late afternoon, early evening, for the 5 to 9 deliveries. All right. So mind you, that's $500 Monday through Friday per truck. All right, $600 Saturday and Sunday per truck. So you can do the math. We run about 6 trucks a day, right? Mornings routes were a lot heavier because those were mostly kitchens, so those were a lot of pieces. The 5 to 9s were normally light except for Sunday and Monday. All right. Now, because I was making so much money hand over fist in that account, it was easy for me to start cycling those trucks out with purchased trucks because a lot of those routes, especially in the evening, were very, very light. And I would still give my driver $100 per route, even if they only had 1 stop, right? And then I would give my helper 75, right? So now you see how much profit is coming through, right, with me only paying $175 of labor and I'm getting a guarantee of $500. I'm cycling these trucks out, right? Now, since I'm running so many trucks for that account, I'm buying trucks, replacing those trucks, but then they offer me Office Depot, right? And Office Depot started with 1 truck, a route that some independent contractor, I think he quit or his truck broke down and it was temporary, I think. And when he was supposed to come back, they were gonna, say, okay, a river dirt cheap. But what happened was on that side of Dynamics' business, that was 43 routes. So 43 routes, every single day, there was at least 1 owner operator that was not showing up. So it was easy to take a route. So once we ran that route and that guy came back, I probably was running, I can't remember exactly, probably 2 or 3 more routes at that time, eventually getting up to 9 routes, right? Once I got up to those 9 routes, those routes became mine because I used my leverage to say, yo, we are bailing y'all out. All these routes that we're doing aren't our routes. These are routes that we're bailing your guys out. It had gotten to the point where they would call me every morning like, man, you got an extra truck, you got an extra 2 trucks, extra 3 trucks. I knew I was going to get a call every day. So I already had an extra person or 2 scheduled to come in because I knew I was going to get that call, right? So this is the point that I'm making. The business was there, right? So with the business being there, my business is talking to me like, yo, we can go get more trucks because you got the leverage. These routes are yours. So we can go purchase trucks to run these routes. We're getting a guarantee on the Office Depot of $300 a route. All right, I'm running 9 routes. That's $2,700 gross a day. We taking home a third, 33%. So out of those 9 routes, I'm bringing back $900 a day to the company net. The driver getting 100, We spending about $100 in truck fees, fuel, and whatever else, little tolls and shit. The trucks are paid for. I'm buying the trucks cash, anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000. The trucks are paying themselves back in no time on the growth side. All right, the business is there. We're running Select Express, couple trucks for that every single day. That's a 7-day-a-week account. IKEA is a 7-day-a-week account. Office Depot is a 5-day-a-week account, right? So what I'm saying is the business was there. The trucks were paying for themselves. And every time I would buy a truck, I would let that money come back. It would only take a month or two. Why? Because I'm not going out breaking the bank on trucks. I'm spending $15,000 on 26 footers. At that time, I'm spending $8,000 on 16 footers. That's how you build a fleet. That's how you build a fleet. You allow the business to build a fleet. You ain't building shit. If you're building the fleet, then you're doing something wrong. If your business is not telling you, yo, we can go out and we can get another truck, the opportunity is there. If there's no opportunity, why are you buying another truck? Just so you can say, oh, I got 2 trucks, or just so you can say you got 3 trucks. If you're not profitable in the first truck, why are you looking at a second truck? You're just going to duplicate the failure. So now if you're down if you're losing $20,000 a month, now you're finna be losing $40,000 a month. And you have to source the talent. And not only do you have to source the talent, and here's another issue where people have with fleets. They'll get a truck and then, man, I can't keep no drivers. Why? Well, what are you paying them? Man, like 120, 125. Well, that's why you can't keep a driver. You can't retain an individual if you're not paying them handsomely. See, everybody wants to make the big bucks, but you have to understand when you operate in a fleet, you don't make your money off of one truck. You make your money in volume. This is why when I was running Office Depot, I just chopped it up in a third. Get a driver 100. We're going to keep 100 for cost for the truck, right? Whatever is overflow, it goes back into cash flow, and we're going to net 100 off of every truck a day. Okay, so each truck is going to make us $500 a week. I'm fine with that. So every truck for Office Depot made $2,000 a month. Cool with that. Why? Because I'm running 9 for that one account. So that's $900 a day. So do the math. That's $4,500 a week net off of those 9 vehicles. Now times that times 4 weeks, and then times that times 12. And then that's how much that account was netting. Same thing with the IKEA. That's $500 Monday through Friday times 6. Now, the margins were a little bit better over there, especially with those 5 to 9 trucks, because they didn't have a lot of stops most days. I'm going to make sure my guys are paid handsomely because I understand that without my guys, the trucks ain't going to roll. And if the trucks ain't roll, we're not making no money. I'm looking at the compound effect. I'm not looking at that short term. See, a lot of people thinking they supposed to make more. Listen, if I got a truck that's going out and let's say it grosses 1,000, right? But let's say it costs me 90%. We're working on a 10% margin. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with taking $100 off that truck and let's say the driver makes 200. Well, man, see, a lot of people think like, how did my worker's getting paid more than me? He's not getting paid more than you when you got a goddamn fleet. You're just making a 10% off of that truck. You got X amount of more trucks. You're making more than him because you're compounding that with the rest of your fleet. But see, people think, well, like, okay, well, if I'm paying my driver 200, then I gotta at least make 3 or 4. My driver can't make 4. That lets me know you're not a good business person. You looking at it the wrong way. And this is why you're not getting nowhere. You looking at he's making more than me. He's not making more than you. You're not looking at the fact that you need a body in that seat to make money. Your number one goal should be retention. That should be one of your main objectives, retention. You should make sure that your margin is big enough, right? Because if you hire a guy and he comes in and you're paying him, let's say $150 a route, and let's say he's a good worker, right? Over time, he's going to eventually come to you for a raise. So you have to make sure you got enough margin there, expecting that conversation eventually, whether it be 6 months, whether it be 12 months. And each time you have to peel off and give that individual more, that diminishes your profit margin. But you want to make sure that you have enough margin so that you can keep chipping away at it. But it's okay. It's okay. You need that individual to make money. You'll never build a fleet if you can't retain the person. If you have one individual and he's working on a truck and you're not paying him handsomely, or you're not paying the people in that first truck handsomely, right? You're making money, you're profitable, but you can't keep a driver because you're greedy. You'll never scale. You'll never get to a second truck because you can't keep a person in the first truck. So it goes back to the same point that I was making earlier. You're profitable, you're in the black, you're in the green, but you haven't mastered retention. So there's a lot of different ways an individual could fail with scaling. Doesn't necessarily have to be because you don't know how to make money or you're not profitable. Your issue could be retention. In order to get to that second truck, you got to make sure you keep somebody consistently in that first truck. If you can't keep somebody consistently in that first truck, you'll never get to a second truck. When you get to that second truck, you got to make sure you keep that person consistently in there and keep them happy so you can get to that third truck, and so on and so forth. As an owner, you always have to think about making your money in volume. In volume. I always like to use Walmart. Walmart makes its money in volume. Their prices are really, really low. They make their money because they sell volume. So when you decide that you want to scale your business, you have to think the same way. All right? You can't be greedy, right? And you have to make sure you know how to make money, right? And you have to listen to your business. Your business is going to talk to you. Don't go out prematurely and scale. It is a recipe for failure. So many people go out prematurely and scale a business, especially the ones that go out and take out a loan to do it and still haven't mastered the business, still don't know what the hell they doing. Box truck business is something that you shouldn't even have to go take a loan out for. Well, Mark, it's easy for you to say. No, I'm telling you because I never took one out. I grassrooted was at peak in 4 years. By working hard, understanding what I was investing in, knowing I was investing in, understanding the full aspect of the business. From the business side of the business and from the field side of the business. Knowing how to be competitive, knowing how to leverage myself, seeing opportunities when opportunities were presented to me, pouncing on them. When Dynamics came to me and said, how many trucks can you provide? I'm quick on my feet. How many trucks y'all need? Can you provide 5? Yeah, I can get you 5. I didn't say, nah, well, I ain't got an extra 5. Probably can get you 1. No, yeah, I can get you 5. The opportunity is there. If I got to stay up all night for the next X amount of days, making it happen, that's what I'm going to do. And trust me, that drive home from that meeting, I'm on the phone. Yo, so-and-so need to work. So-and-so, hey, didn't you say you got a cousin that needed to work? I'm on the phone. I'm making calls. Hey, Brian, man, I need 5 trucks. You think you can give me 5 26-footers? How soon can we get 5 26-footers? What's going to be the rate on 5 26-footers? How soon can you have them for me? I'm making it work. Opportunity there. I'm not finna leave that money on the table so you can go get it. No, I'm gonna go get it. Why would I leave it on the table so you can go get it when it was presented to me? I'm gonna get that. I'm greedy. I'm selfish. I need that. That's my opportunity. I'm not leaving it for you. So I'm gonna make it happen by hook or crook. So you gotta know when opportunities are in front of you how to pounce on them and make shit happen. This could be the opportunity that changed your life. Listen, that Dynamics opportunity, even though we was making money uh, head over fist or whatever the shit, hand over fist, right? That Dynamics money was just a lot easier. It was simple. It was a guarantee. And it was an increase to what was always coming with the movement. So we're gonna create a whole separate company for that. Simple, easy, sweet. That's sweet money. Especially when you already coming from moving. That final mile, a lot of people think final mile is hard. Man, final mile ain't nothing compared to moving. So that's sweet money. Right? So let's recap. And this is for everybody that's starting from humble beginnings, right? Once you go in your pocket the first time, or once your business is profitable and you dip into your cash flow that first time to go get that first truck, you should never go back and hey, let's get rid of Rick Chopper. Let's get rid of Rick Chopper. Moderators, let's get rid of Rick Chopper. Moderators must be asleep. That's all right. I got you. Oh, you got him. All right, so once you go in your pocket that first time, you shouldn't have to go back in your pocket again. You should be utilizing the capital from the initial investment, and you should be rolling that over, right? If you have a box truck business, you should be making money, especially if you're looking to scale. If you're scaling, you should be making money, all right? You still have to practice delayed gratification, all right? A lot of people get out, go get that first, and then go get that second truck, and you think you made it. You're going to go get you a Benz. Nah, it ain't time for that yet. It ain't time for that. When I first bought my first car after I had made a little money, and when I say a little, it was a lot, but to me it was a little compared to what came. I could have went out and got a Benz. You know, the first car that I bought after I made some money was a Camaro, right? And at that time, Camaros was one of the hottest cars on the street. This is back in the early 2010, so 2010, 2011, right? It was hot. It just brought it back out, right? I didn't even buy a new one. I bought a 1-year-old one, right? And, you know, those cars didn't really cost that much back then. You could get an SS for like $39,000, $38,000, right? So I went and got a 1-year-old one for $25,000. It was nothing. My note was $400 a month, but it was one of the hottest cars on the street, right? So I put 6,500 cash down, which I didn't have to do that, and I was still naive myself. As far as putting the cash down, you know what I'm saying? I shouldn't have put nothing down, but I put 6,500 down. My note was like $430 a month. But I was practicing delayed gratification, even with the amount of money that I was making. Even with the amount of money I was making. Let's get rid of generic YouTuber. Let's get rid of DJ 4364. Let's get rid of DJ 4364. Yeah, anybody that say anything that ain't pertaining to box trucking, get rid of them. I don't care if they say, man, it was a bright and sunny day outside. Get rid of them. I don't care if they say, I don't care if they come in here and they recite a scripture out the Bible. All right, If it's not pertaining to box trucking, delete them. Don't even put them on timeout. Just straight up block them. All right? Because I'm not finna be on here long anyway. I'm finna go to bed. So yeah, once you go in your pocket or you tap into your cash flow for that first initial investment, you need to use that money, recycle that money. That money should be coming back to you quick. If it's not coming back to you quick enough, if it's taking too long to come back to you, you are not working hard enough, or you're spending too much money, you're not practicing delayed gratification. If your ultimate goal is to reach scale and get to whatever goal you want to get to, however many trucks it is, and whatever your peak is, or wherever you see yourself being at the ultimate success point in your box truck business, then until you get to that point, the only thing that should be on your mind is delaying your gratification and excessive work. Period. Period. Whatever you got to do, move back into the crib, dump your girlfriend. I don't know what it might be for you. All right. But I know one thing, the most successful business owners, their main objective after God is business. Everything else comes behind that. If you putting shit between God and the business, then you doing shit all wrong. I don't care who else told you otherwise. And these are facts. God first, then business, then everything else. Right? Mark, how I'm gonna put the business over my family? The business, listen, listen, your family ain't gonna have a good, comfortable way of living if you ain't making money. So where you think the priority should lie? Something. Listen, when you a business owner, and I ain't said it in a while, but I gotta start saying a little bit more often because I think people forget. When you become a business owner, it's not like working a job. When you become a business owner, some gonna get neglected. Some gotta get neglected. Business is gonna take up a lot of your time. So either you're gonna neglect the business, or you're gonna neglect something else that may have held a higher importance level prior to you starting your business. That don't mean that importance level is still ain't gonna be high, but something gotta hold precedence more so than the other, right? So if the business is your primary source of income, you left your 9 to 5, you left the rat race, you're focusing on business. So your ultimate goal now is to bring in revenue, the most revenue you can bring in, so that you can provide a better quality of life for your family, right? So how can you provide a better quality of life for your family if you are spending more time with your family, especially at the beginning? Now, there's going to be people out there that's going to disagree, and I'm going to tell you that their business ain't going to go nowhere. And these is facts. It's just like a person who works a 9 to 5 that's a corporate tycoon. They may be high up the corporate ladder. They may be the COO, the CEO, the CFO, the CIO, right? They may, have to travel a lot for the company, meetings. They're always on the phone, Zoom meetings. They're to the office early. They're coming home late. They get home, they're responding to emails. They're at the dinner table. Daddy, look at my drawing from school. They're Zoom. Yeah, honey. They hear him, but they focused on one thing. So it's like it's going in one ear and out the other. It's like they a zombie. You know those types of people. Y'all probably got people like that in your family. They're like a zombie. Same thing with a business owner. But even worse. You have people that you can delegate shit to if you're to that point. But when you're on the new, it's just you. When you on the new, it's just you. The only person you got to delegate shit to is you. You ain't to the point, you ain't got no staff, you ain't got the capital for that. You ain't built up to that point yet. Everything falls on you. So, decisions. Decisions. Life is about choices and decisions. Listen, a lot of people say the game is to be sold and not told. I disagree in certain aspects, right? I can tell this business secrets, it's not even secrets. I can give you all the information that you need to be successful from this business, and it doesn't make me know, never mind. You may have other people out there that get mad that because they're selling the information or they're selling what they think is good information, but their information, for the most part, it ain't mounting up to what I got over here. You dig what I'm saying? But they get upset, right? Me, I can get the information away because it doesn't affect me. Even if I was still active, it wouldn't affect me. Why? Because I'm going to go get it regardless. 99% of the people that consume this information ain't even going to apply it. So it don't matter anyway. I'm just talking just to be talking, to be honest with you. I'm talking just to really be talking. 99% of you ain't going to take the information that you consume on this channel and do nothing with it. This is facts. 1% is going to take the information and apply it. 1%. 1%. Don't come into this business if you're not willing to neglect. We're not going to say sacrifice. I'm going to put a pause on sacrifice. We're going to say neglect. You know why? Because neglect sounds a little bit more harsher. But that's what it really is. Are you willing to neglect what you love so dearly for success? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself that before you go to bed tonight. I am. I have. I will. Anybody and everybody that know me, the chick that I talk to right now, she know. I'm gonna go get that money. Don't talk to me about no dumb shit. I don't give a fuck about nothing on Instagram. Don't tell me about no dumb shit. I don't want to hear about it. I got a small portion of my day for dumb shit. Small portion. Everything else is about bread. All we talk about is money, man. That's it. That's it. If it ain't about the money, then we... Let the business talk to you. The business will tell you when it's time to scale. All right? If your phone ain't blowing up, if opportunity ain't overflowing to the point where, you know, listen, me, I'm not gonna go get another truck and don't know where the fuck I'm gonna put the truck. All right? I'm just not gonna do no shit like that. All right? I never went out and acquired an additional truck and said, all right, let me go get the truck and then figure out where I'm gonna put it. No. Every single truck I got, within a day of it making it back to the yard, it was on assignment, man. It was on assignment. It wasn't no purchase truck and then, hey, applying and shit and waiting for 2-3 weeks to go on board. No, I already got the relationships. We already got trucks in these places. I'm already running. I'm pretty much just replacing rental trucks with purchase trucks because, man, every time they say they need a truck, man, I'll have you one tomorrow. You call the office and you make it to me, hey, Mark, you think you can have an extra truck for us to further notice? As long as they made that call before 1 in the afternoon, they was gonna have that extra truck the next day. Cause as soon as I got off the phone, hey Julie, I was either calling Julie at Enterprise or I was calling Brian Peisker over at Penske. Whoever answered the phone, whoever had the equipment ready, and we was on the way. Or they would deliver it. See, y'all don't see y'all went around back in the day when they'll bring you the truck. If you was big enough and you was spending a big enough bag, they'll bring you the truck. Man, Enterprise used to cater us lunch. They used to come out, Julie and a few other team members from Enterprise. We were spending so much money with Enterprise. At one point, they'd come to my office and cater lunch. So every single truck that I purchased was on assignment the very next day, if not 2 days later. Wasn't looking for no trucks. Stop going out building, think you building the fleet and then trying to source the work. Don't work like that. And last but not least, set end goals. Set end goals. A lot of people just be out here working and don't know what the hell, what's the purpose? You have no purpose. What is your purpose? You're just running. What are you running for? What is your ultimate goal? What is your ultimate goal? This is why a lot of people who do see success don't realize they seeing success and don't know what to do with the money when they're profitable because they have no goals. And this is why they go do dumb shit. What's your end goal? What's your end game? What's the ultimate goal? Nothing lasts forever. Nothing. And trust me, it was once upon a time. I remember it. I remember it like it was clear as day. It was 2014. Don't remember the month. But I just sat back one day. I was in the office. Had my 4 monitors. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I just sat back and had that reflection moment. And like, damn, I came a long way, right? I came a long way. And I remember thinking to myself, man, whenever I get married and start a family, I'll be able to pass this shit down to my kids. Not realizing that nothing lasts forever. I'm thinking I'm going to have this Office Depot account forever. Not realizing that, hey, what if they lose the account? What if they lose IKEA? I'm thinking, hey, this is going to last forever. And guess what? Dynamics lost IKEA. And that was the first thing that woke me up because I had to scramble to go apply for it with the company that picked it up. And that euphoric mindset that I had at that point, once I reached peak and I was just making money hand over fist and like I was the man and nobody could tell me nothing and just name ringing bells, and I could walk into a logistic company and name my price because I had so much leverage. I could talk to them crazy and it was nothing they could do about it because I realized they needed me more than I needed them. Because as long as you had trucks, you could always bail them out, and there was going to be opportunities to bail these logistics companies out every single day. Every single company, every single logistics company that we worked with every day. Mark, you got an extra truck, Select Express, Dynamics, you name it. Every day there was another contractor in this city that was running, because you know they don't put all their eggs in one basket. You may be running, you may be a master contractor, right? You may be the biggest contractor that they deal with in the city because you're a master contractor, but there's still other independent contractors in the city. right? And I was the go-to guy when independent contractor A truck broke down, or independent contractor B, you know, went out and got drunk for the Bears game the night before, didn't bring his ass, show up to the dock at 5:30 this morning, and that shit sitting on the dock. Man, Mark, you got an extra truck. Mark always gonna come through. But when I realized that shit don't last forever, I snapped up out of that euphoric phase and I created an end plan. So I'm telling you now, create you one, right? Create you one from the beginning, right? And this is also going to help you whatever goals that you have in between the beginning and the end. It's going to give you and set timelines too. It's going to give you the motivation to hit those goals and meet those goals. Hey Mark, the only social media I have is LinkedIn. Do you have a hyper link that I can find you with? I don't even have a LinkedIn. So if you're looking at somebody named Mark the Mentor on LinkedIn, that's not me. Instagram, Mark the Mentor. Mark, did you have a day of a job that an employee did not show up, and how did you handle it? Of course, of course. Um, most days that a guy didn't show up, we just added another guy. I had so many guys that I would have people on standby. We have a guy come, a guy or two extra come, and if everybody showed up and there was nothing for them to do and I didn't get a call from a company that needed extra help, then I would send them home with like $50. And then the times where, we were just, overflowed and I was using the overflow of people and we still were short, then whatever crew had to go out short. As far as one-man trucks, to be honest with you, one-man trucks never really had an issue with people not showing up. Those one-man truck, those guys always showed up. If there was ever any shortage, it would always be with the moving side of the business. All right, one-man truck didn't show up. Let's say the only one-man truck routes that I was running was Office Depot. We would just split those routes up. So if I'm running 9 routes, and let's say one guy didn't show up, then I would split that route up amongst 2 or 3 other trucks. So whatever 2 or 3 other trucks that are around that route from that particular individual that didn't show up, we would take that freight that he would have ran, and then they would divide those stops up amongst those trucks. Uh, we have Fleetmatics. If you watched the stream from yesterday, I showed you the fobbing technology that would log the driver into the truck. I should have showed y'all the GPS. We use Garmin's. There are specific Garmin's that were worked with Fleetmatics. What's the word I'm looking for? It was integrated with Fleetmatics. It was specific models that were integrated with Fleetmatics. And then what would happen is they would call and say, all right, we're going to pick up so-and-so's route. These are the stops that was added. Obviously, back then, camera phones were around, but everybody didn't have them still. So you said had people with flip phones and shit, that and the third. So they would fax the BOLs or the manifests from the logistic company while they were there back to the office. My brother was the ops manager, and he would take it and then he would put the stops in manually. He'd go into the Fleetmatics software, click the truck. Let's say it was for Q, and he would click Q's route. He would already have a stops line. Boom. He would add those stops, hit the optimize button from where they were leaving from the location to back to the yard would be the last stop, and it would just optimize. Boom. He hit send. It'll go to the truck, into the Garmin. Bing, ding, 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 ding. He'll get it. You see all the stops. The only thing he got to do is hit go. So he didn't even have to optimize his own route. I had everything set up. Everything set up. So yeah, it would be days like that. But for the most part, I would be able to fill those slots. And then on days where I couldn't, then we had to split those one-man routes up. And if there was a moving truck that was short, then if it was a 3-man crew, then 2 guys had to go do it, unless we could send somebody else. And then if that crew got behind, then we'd send another crew at the end of the day to help them out and pick up on the moves. And then I just take whatever hits financially that I had to take. Uh, I'm going to stay tuned in with you, Mark. Inspiration is best. Appreciate you, Anthony. A lot of trolls as normal. Been running for 2 years. Wish I knew about your chum before I dived in. It's all good, J-Mo. You here now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Metal Dream says, how is he supposed to get the jobs? What lane are you in? It's different lanes of box trucking. What are you doing? What are you doing? I can't tell you how to go about something if you don't tell me what lane you're in. Anthony says, we're similar. I'm addicted to business as money management. Man, listen, you're a business person. You know, I hear a lot of people say, well, man, there's a lot more to life than money. Well, it is. But guess what? When you're a business person, if you can't enjoy those things in life if you don't have money, right? So when you're a business person, you can't go pussyfoot around. If I'm sick and I know I should be calling off, but I'm out of sick days, I know I can go to work and I know just what to do, and I'll do just the minimal amount just to get by so I can still get paid, right? You can do that when you have a job. I know I can go pussyfoot in the bathroom for 20, 30 minutes and put my head down in the toilet in the stall and do that for 30 minutes and then stay an extra 15, 20 minutes on my lunch and, you know, not be as productive when I'm on my desk, you know, and just so I can get paid. You can't do that when you're an entrepreneur. You don't work, you don't eat. You sick, oh well. Especially when you're on the new and you ain't to the point where you at a level of comfortability where you got other people, you got people set up, you got a whole staff, management staff set up. You ain't to that point. If you're a single owner operator, you don't work, you don't eat. Don't get really, really sick. Don't get sick to the point where you can't work. Then you just ain't gonna make no money. So how money not the motivator? When people say that and they call themselves business people, like your main objective to start a business to make money. Like that guy came on the live stream last week talking about he want to service people. What? That's your okay, but you're gonna do that anyway. Your main objective is to make money. Anybody that say they come and start their own business, not make money, and it's not a non-for-profit is bullshit. Or they just don't know what the hell business entails. And these are facts. You start a business to make money. Listen, I wouldn't be sitting here right now if I didn't start multiple businesses, multiple successful businesses. I wouldn't be sitting here talking like this. I wouldn't be sitting on YouTube for the past 2 years. My channel would not grow as quickly and as um, 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 fast as it has uh, within 2 years. You know what I'm saying? The reason why is because of the value. The reason why I can provide value is because I have the knowledge based on my experience over 10 years, 14 years in this. People see value in it, right? This is why they subscribe. All right? So, yeah. I'm gonna ask you a few more questions and I'm out of here. I like the way Hear Me Out put it. Money is life, not in the sense that it's everything, but without it, your family is not good. No stability, no future for your children. It's the drive of a level of freedom. You're absolutely right. I like the way you put that. Bravo. That's well put. I'm sure money will solve 97 to 100% of most people's problem, though. It definitely will. It can't bring a person back to life, but Magic Johnson's still here, ain't he? Hey, Magic Johnson looked good to have that thing since 1991, man. So that's some hella fab money that's working. Or it was all capped to begin with. You dig what I'm saying? So, so that go your proof. Hey, God rest his soul. OJ was free. Car chase and all. If it don't fit, you must have quit. If it don't fit, you must have quit. Don't tell me that money ain't working. That money work. Is scaling a cargo van business still possible in these days? Yep. I think scaling a local cargo van business is probably easier than scaling a box truck business. Yep. I think scaling a cargo van business locally is easier than scaling a box truck business. Yep, sure do. Yep, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Um, I guess Metal Dreams didn't stick around to get his question answered. I'm looking to add to companies I already own. I've always wanted to own a few trucks. Could use this information. All right, stay tuned. Stay tuned. How much you asking for your trucks when you sell, and when will you? Probably a nickel, 5,000. I ain't trying to hit nobody over the head. Curtis or love your videos. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Let me see. Your 30 goes active on the 20th. What are some pointers? What are you looking to do? You sound like you're probably going OTR. Man, get a list of brokers that deal with new authorities. Um, if you remember, we got a live stream where we listed a bunch in the members only section from like about a year ago. TQL is one of them. If you are having a hard time doing that, another alternative you could look into, and this is one of the only times where I really suggest getting a dispatcher. If you on the new and you're struggling finding brokers that will work with you because your authority is new, maybe hire a dispatcher that has a relationship with brokers that work with new authorities, and then using that dispatcher temporarily until you meet the minimum threshold where more brokers are going to be willing to work with you. That's one of the only times when I recommend getting a dispatcher. I'm not against dispatchers, but I'm not against dispatchers, but I'm pro uh, um, increasing your profit margin, right? I'm pro increasing your profit margin. I'm not against dispatchers, but I'm pro increasing your profit margin. So that 8 to 10% that I could pay somebody else to do something that I can do, I'd rather keep that 8 to 10% in my pocket. 10% of 5,000 is 500. That 500 can be used for something. It can pay a bill. It can get some fuel. It can increase the pay to, me, what I pay myself at the end of the week. That 500, can go a long way, so whatever that 10% would be from what you grow. So I would never scale any business based on gig apps, Vincent. Straight contracts. Gig apps are not guaranteed. It's a gig app. You don't know what to expect day to day. When you log on, whatever's available is available, and that's available if you can get it. You got other people on there trying to go for that same shit that you see available. Well, a contract is a contract. You know that's guaranteed. Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday, or 7 days a week. That work is going to be there. You can pretty much, for the most part, count on it. You don't have to go source it. Once you attain the opportunity to contract, it's yours. You don't have to go source it. None of that shit. When you rely on it, you gotta go on a gig app. You trying to source work. You hoping. I hope the gig app, I hope Curry got some shit on there today. I hope GoShare got some shit on there today. You can't scale that. It's not sustainable. And you shouldn't be trying to scale anywhere that's not sustainable. As a OTR dispatch, all the loads the company runs are my accounts. Cool. I'm going to scale up with everything I have set up in time. Can I hire owner operators? Yeah, you can hire owner operators. Um, just make sure you have a full understanding of what you're doing before you do it. A lot of people who get into this business who haven't physically done the business, I don't see many of them succeeding. You know, not saying it's not possible, but pretty much everybody that I've seen come into this business, um, just as in like an investor that never went out, ran a load, or if it's Final Mile, never did home delivery, or if it's a moving company, never been on a truck, don't understand what it entails to, be on a truck and move. Um, I don't see them going very far, It's kind of hard to coach or uh, advise or train someone on, you know, within your business, regardless of the lane of trucking or box trucking that you're in, if you haven't physically uh, been in the field and done it. Coming from a Final Mile background, I always talk about claims because claims are something that's, claims will break you in this business, especially in Final Mile because you're dealing with the freight and you're also dealing with the property, right? It's like squeezing something the size of a watermelon into something the size of a lemon 10 to 15 times a day, depending on how many stops you got. And, you know, had a lady on the live stream a few weeks ago. She said, well, I only hire people who know what they're doing. They did it before. Well, my rebuttal is always, okay, just because they did it before don't mean they was good. Maybe the reason why they not working for that person and trying to get hired with you is because they got fired because they messed some shit up over there, right? It's always best to train an individual in your way. You want them to unlearn whatever bad habits that they had from the other company because you have a specific way that you want to train them, right? See, the thing is, what you got to understand is when you train a person your way of doing things, if they undermine your way and they want to go do shit their way, then that's when you can hold them accountable and take money out their paycheck. But if they mess up doing things the way you train them, you can't hold nobody accountable but yourself. But your way is going to be the best way because you understand business and you understand claims affect the bottom line. So you're going to train them the correct way to do things. Don't care the way you did shit over there. If you work for Target and you come work for Walmart, just because you got big box retailer experience, don't mean Walmart just going to say, all right, well, you work for Target, just go on here, you already know what to do. No, we're going to trade you the Walmart way. We don't give a fuck what you was doing over there at Target. We don't like them anyway. They too stuck up. So you always want to train an individual um, on your way, all right? In your way, right? Because you've been in the field, it's gonna always be the best way because you know what works and what doesn't work. When an individual comes to you with something, you know if it's bullshit or not. Why? Because you've been in the field. When an individual comes with you with a problem, you know how to advise them out of it. Yo, Mark, we don't think this refrigerator gonna fit. I'll take the doors off. Yeah, the doors is off. How many inches is the refrigerator? It's 28. You measure the doorway? Yeah, man, it's barely fit, but it's a wall right there. What you think? You gave the customer the verbal waiver? Yeah. All right, well, see what you can do, but if you don't think it's gonna fit, then refuse it, and they're gonna have to figure this shit out. Hey, Mark, this couch won't fit on the elevator. What floor the customer live on? The 50th floor. Yeah, it's about 93 inches. This is an old building, man. The elevator ain't that tall. We tried to get it in. We pulled it from the bottom. It's too tall. We measured the elevator. Yeah, it ain't going in. FaceTime me. Yeah, they ain't going in. I can see that from here. Well, what you want? All right, well, tell the customer we'll run it up 50 flights. All right, after the third flight, it's going to be $25 a flight. Let me know what they want to do. If not, then put it back on the truck. We got to take it back take it back to the store, take it back to the company. We still gonna charge them for the stock though. They should have measured that shit when they was in the store. They should have known this couch was big as hell, and they live in a goddamn 1 bedroom studio on the 50th floor in this apartment building. They getting this big ass mansion furniture. They want it on the 50th floor that bad. It's $25 a flight after the third floor. What they want to do? You got some people that turn it away. Some people pay. But without knowing from actually being in these types of positions, from being out in the field yourself, building a business, you would know what to tell an individual in those when they get in those circumstances. You wouldn't know what to do. So this situation where, all right, is the engineer there, building engineer there? All right, find a building engineer. Call me back. All right, vision, yeah, you the building engineer? I'm the owner of the moving company. Hey, this is going up to the 7th floor, but it's not fitting on the elevator. Is there a way we could put it on top of the elevator and ride it up? Some buildings will let you put the sofa on the top of the elevator and ride it up. So they'll drop the elevator down. So if the doors are open, they'll lower the elevator. You put the couch on top of the elevator, and then they'll just ride the elevator up slow. You go up, they'll open the door manually. They'll raise the elevator just slightly to the bottom, and then you just yank it off. See, you wouldn't know that if you wouldn't been in the field. That's why it's very imperative that, you know, any business you start, I would say, but specifically in trucking, regardless of the lane, that you do have at least a year. I say more than a year, especially if you're doing like moving or something like that, because all these scenarios that eventually are going to happen, you want to have ran across them yourself so that you know how to advise when you get in these situations. You just don't want to not know what to do because it may be an opportunity where you can make an excessive and an exorbitant amount more money because of the customer's insufficiency or inability, I should say, to measure things and before they purchase them. You know what I'm saying? Especially this big shit, and they know they live in these little bitty ass apartments. How often do you have claims? Me back in the day, not often because all my crews were solid because they were trained by me or they were trained by someone who was trained by me. And my paperwork has always been solid. You get hired by me, you get an employee handbook, and you have to sign contracts. You break it, you bought it. Certain things, a company would pay for, some things I wouldn't hold against. But if you made a very, very poor decision, I'm not paying for that. So you got to pay for it. And I would take your check. I've had employees come on the channel and tell stories. I would take your check. I would take it. I remember this guy. We told a story. The guy came on the channel. It was one of his best guys that worked for the company. It was his partner. This guy, Henry, I took his whole check. Son, calling up to the office. Latin King this, Latin King that. All right, well, you already know how we coming up here. So however you want to do it. But you're going to pay for that floor. I'm not paying for it. You already know you should have put some masonite down. Not masonite, put some blankets or something down. However you want to do it, but you're gonna pay for the flow. We ain't going nowhere. like I'm gonna up and move the moving company and the trucking company overnight. Nah, we gonna be right here. So I didn't really deal with claims a lot because my crews knew that, yo, I better not break anything because Mark gonna take my money. So when you put these little deterrents in place, each job the the employee goes into, they always gonna keep that in the back of their mind because everybody want to go home with a paycheck. But yeah, things would happen. A lot of the claims I would cover because some of them were just, you know, just innocent. If a guy slips and falls and he's carrying something, then that's innocent. Little minor nicks and scrapes, man, on a wall, it's gonna happen in moving. Little door dings and walls, that shit is gonna happen. It's inevitable. It ain't gonna happen often if you're good, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. All right. But then you have some people, some guys and some companies out here, they're just negligent because one, they don't know what they're doing. They haven't been trained properly. They aren't physically capable to lift some of this heavy stuff, right? And they just don't care. They don't care for people's items or they don't care for people's property because they're negligent, right? You're supposed to care for people's things like they're your own. And I think that's a big, important part, that moral, that morale, especially dealing with final mile and moving where you're dealing with property and goods. You gotta care for people's things like they're your own, and you have to take the time, care, and effort into carrying and maneuvering these things, uh, so that you can ultimately reduce claims, right? But if you're just not physically capable, you don't care, then you're gonna have claims and you're never gonna get paid. You can have a contract with Lowe's and you can average about $5,000 a week working Monday through, let's say, on a 5-week contract. Your first delivery that week could be a $4,000 refrigerator. And if you scratch that refrigerator, you get it to the door, you damage it, and that customer refuses it, you're gonna pay $4,000 for that refrigerator. So now everything that you would have made gross for the next 4 or 5 days, you would have to work all week just to gross 5,000. Now you starting your week off, the first job you did, in the negative 4,000. So you finna pretty much work that week for free. You know, Costas, I meant to do this a while ago. We appreciate Costas, he a hometown hero. You just add Costas as a moderator. So Costas is now a moderator. We appreciate you, Costas. Gotta add Costas as a moderator. When I run lows, I strip everything down. We use blankets too. You got to. You got to. You know, listen. And then, well, I don't understand when people be moving company. Why do you want to rush for? You getting paid by the hour. I'm charging customer $250, $300 an hour. Yeah, you're gonna be efficient, but you be more efficient by breaking everything down and wrapping everything. You're getting paid by the hour. Why are you putting people's shit on the truck and not wrapping it and protecting it so it can get damaged? They're paying you by the hour. You got 100 blankets on the truck. You got all these rolls of shrink wrap. Take the time and wrap the item. You know why? Because it's going to take time. They're paying you to protect their shit anyway. So who cares? You want to get home so you can go lay up under that funky ass bra. No, take the time and wrap this shit. This is a 3-4 bed. This is an all-day move anyway. Wrap this shit. Break every single table down. Take the legs off every single table so that when you get to the drop-off, you got to put them back on. And that's going to take more time. Make sure you wrap everything. You know why? Because you're going to have to unwrap it at the other end, which is going to take more time. Like, you in the business to make money or get home to lay up under this funky-ass bra. I don't know, man. I don't get it, bro. But it's I don't get people sometimes, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is, man. But man, I just wanted to jump on tonight, man. I promise you I'm gonna be back in the studio one day this week. I'm gonna start back recording from the studio, man. I just wanted to get the studio a little break, man. You know, them lights. You know, when I'm in the studio, um, y'all know I sit down at that damn desk with all those screens and just sitting under the lights with all the buttons and the sound effects and shit. And I say, I'm gonna be on for an hour. Next thing I know, I look up, I start at 5, I go 11, 5, I look up, it's 8, 9 o'clock at night. The time just go. Go, 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 go. So I'm just giving it a break, man. But I'm gonna probably do a live stream one day this week. But yeah. What is it? I had to defend you on Facebook earlier. There was a guy saying you were full of shit in the Facebook group. Shaking my head. I guess he never watched the channel. He was in one of those box show groups. Oh, word? See, I was full of shit, huh? Okay. I've never been in a Facebook group, but this is the first time I heard somebody talking bad about me in one. But it's gonna happen. You know, you're gonna have people that like you and people that don't like you. But the people that don't like you, they really don't even. Most people don't like you is because they don't even know you. They just go off something that somebody else said, or they just don't like you for whatever reason. You know. Uh, but you know, I've always made that challenge. That ain't nobody accepted it yet. So here's the thing: if you don't like a person, accept the challenge. The money's still there. We ain't retracted it. Just let them hate. Uh, TG said, "Did you ever get inspected or audited?" So I was interstate, all right. So my trucking company, final mile company, was interstate. So didn't have to go through the audits that you go through when you are interstate. Sometimes the state troopers, though, within the state would pull the trucks over and do inspection, but not at the level that you do when you are running interstate freight. When you're interstate, you don't have to do the yearly inspection. Oh, so you saying Buddy didn't even check me out? He just saying this shit. Well, there you have it. People look at you and just don't like you. So far, it is what it is. We don't care. We don't be on Facebook groups. You know what I'm saying? Oh, all right. They pull box trucks over a lot in Pennsylvania, Jersey, Pennsylvania State Police, or DOT officer. Uh, all right. Appreciate everybody for tapping in, and I'll be back one day this week when I figure out what else I want to talk about. All right. Hope everybody have a good night. Peace.